Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to make an Austrian Linzer Torte, or in Germany we have this as well. It's a very common dessert you can find in many bakeries, and I'm going to show you how I make my recipe for my market, which is a bestseller at my bakery. It's very simple to make. Keep in mind that this is for 20 pies, so I will give you the measurements that you would need for just one. Okay, you're going to start off by roasting your nuts. So I like to do a mixture between hazelnut and almond. You can also just do almond or just do hazelnuts, but I like mixing it. You're going to put it in a food processor and you're going to grind it really finely, and then you're going to have your homemade hazelnut flour or almond flour. Next, I'm going to use flour, and I'm just going to put that into my bowl, and I will also then use butter. I like to do my butter at room temperature, and I'll explain later why. So my butter is at room temperature. I'm just going to add the butter to my flour, and then what we will do next is just get some sugar. We're going to add the sugar to our flour butter mixture, and last we're also going to add our hazelnut in there. Lastly, you also want to make sure you have Lebkuchen spice. This is my secret ingredient. You can also look up how to make your own. You can buy this off Amazon. I'll post the link below, and I'm going to add this into my mixture. And actually, lastly, again, you're going to add salt. All right, you're going to use a paddle attachment, and then you're just going to mix it all with your paddle attachment, and you're going to mix it until it comes together. What you're looking for is, when your dough is ready, is kind of like a very soft and smooth dough that is easy to the touch. And then what we're going to do is you're going to take, I would take, if you're just doing one recipe, a 10-inch cake pan. You don't want to put any parchment paper underneath it. However, here I'm using a 9-inch pie tin because I'm selling 20 of them, and it's just easier. So you're just going to take some of your dough and you're just going to press it on the bottom like this. So it's very simple, very easy. And the cool thing about this tart is you can do really any jam. The traditional way of doing this is to add a red currant jam. However, that's very hard to find here in the States. So I typically like to go for apricot or also raspberry, which works really, really well. So just press it on the bottom, nothing fancy, super easy to make. And then you are going to have the jam of your choice, and you're just going to put a generous amount onto your Linzer Torten in this way. Keep in mind, you can also make a Linzer Schnitte, which just means like a little square instead, so you could do it on a baking tray. Next, you're going to take a piping bag, and this is the tip that you do need. Do not get a tip that has like the star on it, because what I have found is that when you are piping, some of the nut pieces get stuck in it. So I like to do a large tip, and I'll put all the links below which kind of tip you need to have an open piping, that you don't have little nuts getting stuck in there and then you have to redo the whole bag again. And then next, you're just going to pipe your rest of the dough just like this. So typically I will like to do 2/3 on the bottom, and then I'll save 1/3 of my cookie dough to pipe on top. And so you're just going to do a pattern like this. Now, one thing you could also do that's very common is, instead of having a soft dough, you can also use cold butter, and you can chill your dough after, and then you can roll it out. However, I have found that when I am making 20 of these, this is the easiest way, and it will keep it just nice and in one place and the same pattern. One of the other things that people often do is they will actually roll out dough, and then they'll cut out like stars or anything like that and place it on top to have a nicer pattern. But this one works really well. At the end, I like to do just a rim around it, and then I use that because then I will place my almonds on top of there. For the almonds, I like to do sliced almonds, and I like to make sure that the skin is all removed. Of course, you don't have to, but I just think that looks a little bit nicer. It looks prettier, and I think the taste is also a little bit better. One of the great things about this type of pie or cake, I mean, it's technically a cake, not a pie, but one of the great things about it is that it does last for at least a month because there's no egg in it. So in Germany, it's very common to bake it for the holiday season and then store it in aluminum foil for over a month. You're going to preheat your oven to 400 degrees, and then you are just going to bake this pie for 35 minutes. I keep saying pie because I'm in America, but it's not technically a pie. And you have these Linzer Torte, which are super, super delicious. I do think the Lebkuchen spice is what you need, but it's also going to be soft when you pull it out of the oven, but it will settle, and there you have the most delicious pie.